I promised you plenty of fiber channel in this course, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Let's do another nugget here quickly on verifying fiber channel in the MDS environment. So in this nugget specifically, I want to provide you with an overview of just how easy it would be to set up a Cisco MDS device. We'll talk about how you update those devices, but then really the focus is, as I indicated, on verifications. Verifying things like initiator and target fabric logins, verifying zoning on one of these MDS devices. This is going to give you a good feel for what you would be doing potentially full time in the storage area networking environment with Cisco equipment. Now guess what? When it comes to your initial configuration of the MDS device, absolutely no surprises here. This is a rollover cable. You're going to use your nice terminal emulation app on your PC that connects with the rollover cable. You're going to have your 9600 bits per second setting. You're going to have your 8 data bits. You're going to have no parity. You're going to have the one stop bit. You're going to have the no flow control. So we're going to have those exact settings that we would do to connect to any other Cisco device. We're going to power on the MDS. We're going to see that device boot automatically. And then, since it's never been configured before, we are going to be dropped into a setup script. So Cisco makes us feel right at home in the storage area network here. Now, let me give you some more details on how this thing boots. So we have the BIOS, and the big deal about the BIOS obviously is that when this device first boots up, it's going to run our power on self-test. And something else that it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and initiate what we call the loader. The loader is going to get our kickstart boot parameters. It's going to verify and load that kickstart image. So obviously we progress to the kickstart phase of the boot process, and this particular image runs a Linux kernel and drivers. It gets our particular system boot parameters and then verifies and loads the next phase here, and that is the actual system image. The system image is what's going to load our NX operating system, which of course is the new standard here on the MDS devices. Now, just like in our other types of Cisco device environment, when we have a problem with the particular boot parameters, that can cause a failure of the device to boot. If you do have incorrect names or locations and the boot process fails at this last critical stage, you need to recover from this, and you need to do it pretty quickly. Cisco gives us a command called install all. I want you to know this command, install space all. And this command will launch a script for you on the MDS device that will greatly simplify the overall boot procedure and check for errors and the upgrade impact before it goes any further. So install all can be our best friend. In fact, when we use install all to upgrade software on the MDS system, it is a non-disruptive type of process. If you wanted to do upgrades to the software in your MDS device and you didn't care about non-disruptivity, if you will, you can go ahead and do a disruptive software upgrade. And that would be to go ahead and copy the kickstart and the system files into the device, alter the boot commands in the configuration, and then go ahead and reload the device utilizing the reload command. So I can't emphasize install all enough, right? It can fix boot problems, and it can also upgrade your software in a non-disruptive manner. Now, as you know, on these Cisco devices, it's not just a matter of installing the new software. We have to worry about licensing. The licensing model for the MDS devices has two options. You can go feature-based, or you can go module-based with your licensing. So we'll, in fact, obviously on one machine, you could have both instances being utilized. So you have feature-based licensing for the box itself, and then you can go in and you can have additional hardware modules that you've installed, right, that are going to utilize module-based licensing. Some MDS devices, like the 9000 series multi-layer switch director, does not use the module-based licensing at all, but you will find that other devices do. What would be an example of the feature-based licensing? Well, you have your standard license that comes free with the MDS device, right? And then you might add something like the FCIP feature license. What is this for? This is for SAN extension over IP, and it literally references to being able to add fiber channel over IP to the feature set on your MDS device. Now remember, just like with our LAN data center equipment from Cisco, they do a wonderful thing, and they do offer that 120-day grace period. And I want you to know that, by the way, that specific duration for your exam environment, okay? So it's a 120-day grace period that we are offered, and this is great because it's going to allow us to test drive particular features before we run out and purchase them. When you purchase a license from Cisco, you're going to be downloading a license file. You're going to be putting it on the MDS device, and then you're going to install that license with, you ready for this? The install license command. So that would be easy to figure out, wouldn't it, in an exam environment, certainly. We'll use the install license command against the license file that we have acquired from Cisco.com. Now, you'll be happy to know that Cisco made a real concerted effort to ensure that the command structure in the MDS environment is not going to be all that different from what you're used to. For instance, you want to take a look at the virtual storage area network type information. Instead of show VLAN, we're going to go ahead and utilize show vSAN. Yep, we're going to see a similar display of vSAN information that we would be used to seeing with our VLANs in the LAN infrastructure. Want to take a look at a specific vSAN? Just do show vSAN and then the vSAN ID, like 30, for example. What about port membership? No problem. Show vSAN membership. Now, this is unique from our LAN environment, isn't it? Because we know that in the LAN environment, we would actually get the membership display in our show VLAN command. So here, a bit different, show vSAN membership in order to see the ports participating in our vSANs. Now, what about verifying the devices that have successfully logged into this particular MDS device? Well, we're going to do show Floggy database. That's right, it's as simple as that. To go ahead and view the port name and node name information for the device that is successfully engaged in the Floggy process against this particular MDS device that we're logged into. Now remember when we talked about that distributed name service? Yeah, that was the FCNS, the Fibre Channel Name Server. In order to see that information on your local device, you can do show FCNS database, and you would typically want to restrict that to a particular vSAN. So I could say show FCNS database vSAN 30, for instance, in order to see the particular devices that have registered with the Fibre Channel Name Server. And by the way, when you're dealing with these names that you see in these databases, we know the names are going to be, those long strings of hexadecimal, and that's going to be really cumbersome to work with. So one of the things that you can do is you can go into global configuration mode on your MDS, and you can say device alias, and you can say database in order to enter the device database device alias database. Once you're in there, you can use the device alias command in order to give nice, easily recognizable names to particular port worldwide names, right? So really consider utilizing the device alias feature to aid you in your verification and troubleshooting in the Fibre Channel SAN environment. Now, in order to verify your work there, just throw a show command at the beginning of device alias database, and you'll see the hard work that you've done. Now, remember to play with power when it comes to the SAN, and the configuration of these particular things is what we get into in the CCNP data center curriculums here at CBT Nuggets. By the way, I want to wrap up this particular nugget with one more command for you. It's one you would be familiar with coming from an iOS environment, and that is the show tech-support command. So we have the show tech support command, just like we always have had in Cisco, in order to obtain key information that engineers up at Cisco TAC would need in order to help you troubleshoot very complex misconfigurations or complex errors that you're having in your devices. Now, before we wrap it up, let's have a little fun with some exam time review. Which command would you use in order to view which logged in hosts are functioning as fiber channel targets? Be careful here. Is it show hosts? Is it show floggy database? Is it show host database? Or is it show FCNS database, the fiber channel name server database? Well, we didn't mention a show hosts. We didn't mention a show host DB. So really in the exam environment, we're coming down to these two, right? It's logged in hosts that are going to function as fiber channel targets. Wouldn't we need those to be registered in the fiber channel name server? Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to look at that FCNS database to ensure we can utilize those hosts as targets. Notice it wouldn't really be enough just to see all of the devices that are logged in, right? So some careful consideration there. We can arrive at the correct response. So in this particular nugget, we talked about setup a little bit of the MDS devices, upgrading and licensing, but our emphasis was on those many verification commands that are very straightforward for us to learn that we would use in the MDS-based storage area network environment. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.